Hi guys, welcome back to another Madden 25 simulation of a Week 10 NFL matchup. Next up, we've got the Broncos visit to Kansas City, and yes, Taylor Swift is in attendance there at Arrowhead or Gehea Field, as it is now known. In the real game, the Chiefs were 14-3 down. Bo Nix playing pretty good. Um, as you can see from a Madden overall, there's a gulf apart between these two teams. X factors across the board for the Chiefs: Chris Jones, the defensive tackle, Travis Kelce, and of course Patrick Mahomes. They're giving them that 92 overall. And with the Denver Broncos, it's only Pat Satan the second, the cornerback. We do have mentions of Courtland Sutton, the wide receiver, and Jones, the free safety, but only a 78 overall, which puts them sort of in the sort of low mid tier from a Madden team perspective. So not expecting anything other than a Chiefs blowout in this simulation, but we've seen a couple of pretty close games over the course of doing these sims. So you never can tell for sure. The Broncos at the moment are. Let's just have a quick look at the AFC West, because this, of course, is a divisional clash. The Broncos are actually quite a surprising team this year. They're 5-4. Bo Nix has been a bit patchy, but seems to be finding his feet. He's one of a few rookie quarterbacks that are making their debuts this season and looking pretty good as well, along with obviously not Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams type performances, but he's holding his own. We're also seeing Drake May, of course, as well, up in New England. Made his debut a few weeks ago, so it's really exciting to watch these new rookie quarterbacks play against not play against each other, but play and see how they compete against each other. So Chiefs, of course, are unbeaten, 8-0 on an 8-game winning streak. Their last loss, of course, came to the Raiders on Christmas night. I won't mention that game ended up losing me 600 quid of UK pounds. I don't really talk about that much, and it's all forgotten now. Of course, it isn't. So yeah, Chiefs are 8-0. They're on that 8-game winning streak, but it's like what 11 is it? 11 or 12 if you include last season. So hoping the Broncos can nip that in the bud. It's 14-10 in the real game, but let's dive in. I'm just going to have a quick look at the uniforms because I think the Broncos are playing in their matte helmets. Yeah, it looks like that's what they're playing in. And the Chiefs, they don't seem to have many different uniforms. So, yep, let's dive in. AFC West clash, divisional clash. 92 overall Kansas City Chiefs versus the 78 overall Denver Broncos. It's Pat Mahomes, X Factor versus Bo Nix, rookie quarterback. Let's see how Madden calls this one. And just a quick note on the sliders. It looks like the last game that I played didn't actually take the sliders that I'd been testing, which is a bit frustrating. It does make sense because in the last couple of games I've simmed to today, quarterbacks seemed to be completing a lot more. We were hitting sort of between 80 and 90 completion percentage, and it feels right to be in the 60s and a good quarterback like a Pat Mahomes. Yeah, I'm expecting mid 70s maybe, even 80s. But usually I want it to sort of be middling, sort of high 60s, low 70s, which is usually a pretty good day at the office. But we just don't see many of those efforts. And what surprises me is seeing all those drops. There were quite a lot of drops that I was seeing by wide receivers, and I was thinking it was just because I had that wide receiver catching so low. But as it turned out, they were still set as the default sliders of 50. And just a reminder that the main reason I'm doing these sims is that, one, I like to see how Madden calls the games when compared to the games that are playing in real life. But also because I'm trying to balance out my CPU sliders. So I like to play with two sets of sliders when I do my franchises. I like to have a CPU, a set of sliders for simming, which is just CPU v CPU, so doing exactly what I'm doing here. Usually when I'm in a franchise mode, I'll do the full 32 team control. So if there's an interesting matchup and an interesting game, I'll watch it as a sim, in the same as I'm watching this here. So if there's like any interesting early games, I'll go through and do the simulation of those early games, and then it sort of gives me a lot more what do you call it, immersion, right? A lot more immersion into the game. So I'm just trying to refine these sliders. So when I'm watching a game like this, I'll load in my custom or make the alterations to my custom sliders for the sim game, so that it gives me hopefully better statistics. And then I'll have another set of sliders for the ones that I end up playing, and then trying to find a decent set of sliders that just give me that balance between realistic NFL stats. So we're getting like better rushing yards that are more closely akin to what you'd see in the NFL. Because defensive tackles is another thing that you don't see a lot of when you're simming, just because teams aren't having enough plays, and that's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find a balance of quarter length, so that teams have the right number of plays, and then that has a knock-on effect, of course, then for what do you call it? Solo, how many tackles they get, and sacks, and all these other things become more accurate. And I think it's a lot easier to tune this stuff than it is in a game like FIFA. So you can't. Oh, damn it! The Bucks have just scored. They've just equaled, tied things up with the 49ers. Yeah, I didn't want to see that. But yeah, it's trying to nail these sliders out. Hopefully, I'll get two sets of sliders that I can play with, and plug them in, and just get some realistic stats and increase that immersion. But I mean, I've always done the full 32 team control. I think it's disappointing. I usually play offline franchise, but I think for some reason EA had removed the ability to do full 32 team control in what's it called? In an offline franchise. You can only do it now in an online franchise. So yeah, we're going to be looking into how to do that, and then we'll probably run a couple of franchises once we've got the sliders done, and sort of mix that in with the Ultimate Team. We create another series on each of the franchises, but I haven't done a 49ers franchise for quite a while now, so I'll be looking to sort of get that back, get a 49ers one up and running again as a first port of call, and yeah, hopefully have an immersive franchise. And then the other one I'll do probably a bit later on is this full relocation. So I've already downloaded a few teams that people have created to add a bit of uniqueness to the league, I guess. There's a couple I'd like to have a go. I haven't really had a go at creating any teams my own yet, so I'll definitely be looking to do that, and then sort of do similar to what I did. So the franchise that I did before, I had like a European league that had two teams in London, the Monarchs and the Black Knights, and I was the Black Knights, and then we had the Paris Blues, and the Dublin Shamrocks. And it's probably the longest franchise I ever went, because I was simming it. Sometimes I was playing the moment, and sometimes I was just simming it and watching it like I do with these games. And I got to, I think it was about the 20th year, I got to the championship game a few times, but lost, didn't get into the Super Bowl. And then I finally managed to make a Super Bowl, and I won. And then I lost again. I think I had I think I played the Chiefs in the first one, but we renamed them the Mexico City Golden Eagles, I think it was. And we won the Super Bowl against them, and then we didn't make the Super Bowl the next year. And then we went on a 5-game Super Bowl run, and then I just stopped playing the franchise at that point. I thought, I've got all the Super Bowls, and we had a 99 overall. He was only a superstar development as well. What was his name? Rhett. I can't even think of his name now. Rhett Rock or something his name was. But he was like a fast, like 98 speed and 93 acceleration or something. So he was really fun to play. Rhett Rott, that's what his name was. And he was, I didn't create that name, by the way, that was one that was already named for him, but he was so much fun to play because he managed to develop up to 99 with only superstar dev traits, or McCaffrey breaking a big run there. And it just adds that extra fun dimension. If you've got a quarterback in Madden that can run, there's few finer things that sort of feels as good as rolling out as a quarterback and then seeing all that space and then pressing the trigger button to run and pick up the first down with your legs. And I always like using the pump fake as well. That's a lot of fun, and I don't really think it works that well, but you definitely do see the DB sort of bite a little bit on a pump fake on a rollout. So, but I also had like a fast running back as well. I forget his name, but he developed into a 99. But receiving core wasn't very good. We were very much a run-first team, and by the time it got to those Super Bowls, pretty much everybody all the normal NFL players had since all retired, so it was all very much standard electronic EA generated rookies, Madden generated rookies. But it's pretty cool because it breathes that new life into the league, and there was a couple of players that you would look out for, especially when I'm simming it like this. It's quite fun to sim a game for a team that has just like got a new rookie, and I'd always look like what the rookie overalls were and see who picked them up, and then when it came to simulating those games, it was always pretty cool watching those players and see how they performed in games. But I'll probably carry on with that franchise at some point. I might sort of load it up, and I uninstalled Madden 24, but I might just add it and then just do a quick stream and give you a recap of what that relocated franchise looked like after 20 odd years, and just let you see what the statistics were and who broke the records, because that's always fun to see, seeing all of the records get broken over the years. It adds a lot of immersion into the game, and I especially like it if I'm playing against a team that's got the lead in Russia, and what I sometimes do with the sliders, so I have certain house rules that I'll do, like I'll try not to pick cheesy plays, so I will always stick to doing the Ask Madden plays for the play calling, just so that I'm not cheesing the CPU, and then if I'm coming up against a team that I know has got a really good running back, what I'll usually do is go into the sliders and make some changes. Like same with a good offensive line, I'll go in and make some adjustments to the sliders to see if I can make the game more difficult rather than a consistent. Because that's how Madden used to feel way back when. That like on the Mega Drive days, that teams were pretty much the same and played the same. You didn't really have this massive difference between how they each played, and I think adapting the sliders based on the team that you're facing, and also in the playoffs, I'll do it. That's the other house rule that I'll have is, nice catch by Debo in the real game, 49ers game. But yeah, I'll try and do certain things like that. Those house rules, only pick Madden plays, past Madden plays, and then if I'm in the playoffs, I will change the sliders to be a bit more brutal. Maybe +5 on each of the sliders for the CPU. Or if I'm playing a team that's got a really good offensive line, I'll up that. Or if I'm playing a team that's got a massive home field advantage, like a Seahawks or a Chiefs, I'll make sure that I increase the sliders to make the game, a little bit more, that much more difficult when I'm playing against it, because I actually like losing when I'm playing in franchise. It sounds silly, but I actually like losing because it sort of adds that dimension of having to really think about what your play calling is going to be, and if you've got this real feeling that the team that you're playing is doing well. Winning streaks is another one as well. So if I know that I'm playing against a team that's on a winning streak, or it's a divisional rival, then I'm going to increase certain things. And although it doesn't work out with things like penalties, this is one thing where I wish that you had different settings for penalties in the sliders for CPU versus your team, because that would also allow you to do things like increase false starts. So if I'm playing the Chiefs away, or I'm playing against the Chiefs in KC, I know that it's going to get loud. So I would like a higher probability of having false starts for my offense when I'm playing against a team with a really loud stadium, like Kansas City, a Buffalo, or a Seattle Seahawks. So those are the sorts of things I do. Also, I won't run the same play too often. I'll make sure that I mix it up in terms of what I'm calling. But anyway, right. So it's coming to the end of the first quarter now in the Sim, 7-0 to the Chiefs.
Back to Arrowhead in just a moment. Time for our second quarter. Let's see if the Broncos can capitalize in the red zone. Straight ahead with Williams. And they bring him down pretty quickly at the 10. Only gets a yard there to make it 2nd and 9.
The one thing I could say positive about the execution of that play is at least he didn't go backwards.
They'll come to the line here, 2nd and 9. Nick's looking to throw. And he has it in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. The Broncos finish off their opening drive. Cortland Sutton, the touchdown. He finds one of his great receivers, Brock, and they are off to a great start to begin this ball game.
Yeah, it's such a positive offensively when you can go find not just a field goal, but a touchdown on that opening drive. And defensively,